Well, hello there and welcome back to the next episode of this F1 2019 Alfa Romeo career mode. This is the way the episodes are going to be structured for the foreseeable future. Basically, I'll do a quick intro here before we even go to FP1. We'll talk about any upgrades on the car, any other bits of news that have developed since I've gotten to the next event. And then off camera, I'll do FP1 and FP2 and then come back to you for FP3 and the qualifying session. That'll be one episode, and then it'll be extended race highlight package with all the intros and outros and everything for the race as well. So unlike previous career modes I've done where it was all compiled into one episode and then it was sort of a highlight package, there's going to be a bit more going on. You'll see more of the car on track, you'll hear more of me as well. There won't be so many, there'll be bits as well where it's basically just me going around rather than just all the action one after the other, but that's the way I want to do it this year, so that's exactly what we'll do. So we'll have a quick look around. So we've got some messages obviously. Weekend preview there for Bahrain. The tyres obviously hard, medium, soft. They do change compounds, so it could be, you know, hard, medium, soft here could be the hard, medium, soft, and then at the next race again it'll be hard, medium, soft, but the hards could be the mediums could be the softs could be the super softs. That's the way it's run this year, and we're not doing 17 different colour bands for all the tyres. We haven't got the ultra softs, the hyper softs and super hard tyres and all that. It's just hard, medium, soft, but there is a difference in the durability and the wear from each weekend, but essentially hards, mediums, softs. Developments completed, all three have come in. That's good news. We'll go and check to see how our performance stacks up against the other teams as well, and we're now free to crack on with both the chassis and powertrain department and the durability department as well. Weather forecast, it's Bahrain. We're never going to get any rain here. Of course, qualifying in a race will be held at night. A little bit of cloud during the race, so it might make a few little tweaks to the overall track temperature, which could affect tyres, but yeah, pretty much conditions I expected to see. Nothing has changed here. Of course, our contract value is still a little higher than our own value, so our value has dropped down a little bit, obviously because of the disappointment of Australia. Research and development then, so we'll click on this screen then. So yep, the durability one has come in, it's 10% better on everything. Central under tray and pistons have all been completed as well. So the next upgrade is a major, which is disappointing because that's now 3 weeks you've got to wait for that. So we're kind of stuck now with the chassis and aerodynamic department, and we've got one more minor upgrade for the powertrain before we hit our first major. So I might just do that after this episode and then focus on durability. I don't want to do major upgrades whilst it's going to take 3 weeks to come in, because if it fails it's going to take 4 weeks, which is essentially 4 races until we get an upgrade. So we'll look at the progress history of other teams. We were the only team to do an upgrade then, so essentially 2 minors equal a major, and it's jumped us up ahead of Toro Rosso, so we're now the 8th best team on paper in F1. Vehicle management then, we'll still run with the same units for the entirety of this weekend. Gearbox, obviously practice gearbox for FP1 and FP2, where I do most of my running to try and save the event gearbox as much as we can. So then I will go away and do FP1 and FP2 off camera, and I'll be back with you guys for the beginning of FP3. So here we are then, back at the workstation after completing FP1 and FP2. We covered lots of laps, lots of mileage in both the first 2 sessions. FP2, as you're seeing, qualifying the races, well, obviously at night time, and the lighting looks absolutely fantastic around the circuit as well, which we'll see once we go into qualifying. We'll have a look at the wear after the couple of practices we've done. 16% on the ICE is definitely the highest. The gearbox, so 18% on the practice gearbox, which is fine. Now we move on to the race gearbox as well. FP1 and FP2 went okay. Didn't really have too many dramas, no spins, no accidents, anything like that. We've done a lot of our running on the medium tyres, trying to work out some sort of a gauge how long they'll go. It looks like they'll last about 15-16 laps. So there's a possibility, or a definite possibility, of doing a 1 stop depending where we qualify. We ended FP2 as the second quickest on the medium tyres, and we was only a handful of tenths off of whoever it was ahead of us. I can't quite remember. I feel we've got an opportunity to sneak into the top 10 in qualifying as long as we keep it clean and obviously run the soft tyres, but first we've got to go through practice 3, which is just a 30-minute session. I've still got, I think, either 1 or 2 practice programs to do. I'm not going to do many laps. I'm going to limit the mileage in FP3 to save the gearbox, of course, so we'll go to FP3 and see what we can do. So here we are at the beginning of FP3. Yeah, we've got the track acclimatisation and the qualifying pace programme to do. And we've also cut the chain 5 corners in the team objective as well, and also the R&D objectives for the engine ERS and fast sector 1 and 3. So we might as well then do the qualifying pace programme straight away. We've got 2 sets of soft tyres there, so we can use one for the qualifying one, and we can also use one for the track acclimatisation.
So take a few laps to get the tyres up to temperature. Try and feel your way around.
So then, I am released from my holdings into the pit lane here at Bahrain. First car out on the circuit. So we've also got one of the two R&D things we've got to do for the upgrades as well that we've had on the car between Australia and Bahrain, which is achieve the top speed, or the average top speed in the session. We're the first car out on the circuit, so we will achieve that by being the only car. It's just an out-lap then. So this is the one of the DRS zones. There's 3 here now in Bahrain, just like Australia. The first one down the main straight. The second one is the new one between turns 2 and 3. This is a little part of the section here. If you take too much curve on the inside, you will oversteer wide and essentially spin the car. This is the first bit of running I've done on the soft tyres. Double left hand as well, feels great if you absolutely nail it. Terrible if you get it wrong. Next few corners here, sort of a, it is a double left, but it's not. And again, we've got a double right, which is, again, stay away from the inside curve there. You can abuse the exit curve there a little bit as well. So we'll put the ERS back up to hot lap mode. Fuel mixing rich. Everything turned up to the 11. Out of the final corner. So then, good opportunity to set the fastest lap in this session. And that is the engine ERS upgrade. An extra 10 resource points for that. We can get 5 extra resource points if we're quick in Sector 1 and Sector 3. Okay, we weren't quick enough in Sector 1 to get the 5 R&D points for that. Third part of the DRS zone. Losing time a little bit. We might not get purple, we might only get green. Oh, yeah. Oh, we luckily kept it at the wall. Yeah. Pushing a bit too much there.
You've got front wing damage. Recommend you box for a new one.
Exceeding track limits so far off the circuit. So we'll come back into the pits then, because obviously this is now ruined. We can't do this. And the tyres will be too far gone as well to have another go. So yeah, we failed that practice program. We can do it again with our final set of soft tyres, but the track acclimatisation program would be our best bet out of the two. We can't really run these tyres again for the qualifying one. Well, we could run the other ones for the qualifying one, give it a go, and then use these for the track acclimatisation one. I think we can certainly get green in the qualifying program, but we'll lose a bit of time here, obviously, as we get the front wing fixed as well. So I'll make a decision and come back with you guys in a few seconds. So the car's all fixed then. I am going to go for the qualifying program again. And whilst I'm here, I might as well show you the setup that I'm planning on running as well. So aero 6-7 on the wings, transmission 80-80, suspension geometry 3 clicks to the right for the camber, 3 to the left for the toe, suspension 6-6-5-7-3-4, brakes 82-58, tyres 1 click to the right for the front tyre pressures, 2 to the left for the rears, which I think is a similar setup to the way I won in Australia. Although I think the suspension geometry, oh no, the ARBs were a little bit better as well to try and save the back end, and we were running a slightly higher wing. So we've selected the last set of tyres that we've got. So we will go for the qualifying pace program again. We'll try and nail that as soon as we can, go back in the garage and then give the track acclimatisation one a go if we've got enough tyres left. So this is pretty much just going to be one shot. We won't have the tyres to do a second run. So we've really got to go for it on this lap. It was a little better already than our previous attempt. We made a lot of time over in sector 2, 8 temps up on our target lap time. Oh, running a bit wide in the final corner, it's going to compromise as an exit. We're going to be losing time all the way to the line. I don't think it's going to be purple. No, it's only green.
That lap beats our primary target time.
And we ain't going to improve. We ain't going to improve. That's a shame. If it wasn't for that mistake, we might very well have got the purple score. In fact, we was only a tenth and a half off, so he definitely would have improved looking at the delta on the right hand side. So slow tour back to the pits then, and then we'll do the track acclimatisation program as well, and that will see us to the end of FP3. So that lap time we just did there in the qualifying one, of course everything was turned up all the way to the max. It has put us in third place. We're 4 temps quicker than Verstappen and Leclerc, who are on the medium tyres, and 5.5 temps off Vettel. So I assume they're not running in everything to the max as well. But that shows there, only half a second off. You got the likes of Lucas Weber down there. He's a second and a half slower than us. George Russell is a second slower than us. So yeah, I'm fine with that. Our pace so far. I've gone for the better of the 2 tyres. One is 12%, one is 19%. Obviously, gone for the 12, and we'll get the track acclimatisation program on the go. So the track acclimatisation program, if you haven't seen it yet before, we've got 3 laps to get a high enough score to get purple, or at least green. And there's various gates, checkpoints around the circuit, including DRS zones, where we've got to go through cleanly and quickly to achieve multiple scores, and that'll all add up towards the end of a lap. So number 1 is done in purple. So far so good. First green, didn't go through it quick enough, according to the game anyway. So we won't get a perfect score, but if we keep doing this, we'll definitely get purple. Oh, twitchy car. Up to the line then. Almost a perfect score.
That's fantastic. You obviously have a really
You had to
good
get
understanding of the
470
circuit.
to get purple. We ended up with 515. So about an hour into session. We don't have to complete the final 2 laps if we don't want to. The only reason why we can still do it, even though we got purple, is because we didn't get a perfect score. If we got a perfect score, that would end the program completely. But if we backed out now, it really wouldn't matter. This practice program, and therefore really the session is all over. So I'll let the time run down, and we'll see where we finish at the end of the FP3 session. So Vettel was fastest, Hamilton and then Gasly second and third. A mix of soft and mediums. Well, fastest laps on the soft and mediums. We was only nearly 9/10 off of Vettel, but of course you've got to remember we did that with everything turned up for the qualifying practice program. But things are looking good for qualifying. I generally think we've got a good chance of getting inside the top 10, which doesn't overly surprise me because well, I've said before and I'll say it again, Bahrain is one of my favourite circuits, and I've always gone well here in the past in pretty much whatever team. Writing down in 17th place is a bit disappointing, so we'll advance in a minute or two into qualifying, where hopefully we can secure our first top 10 start of the season. So a handful of resource points. I think it was 50 we picked up in total for that session. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, it was a little bit more. 75, that's nice. 974, so that's quite nice and healthy. Reputation went up a little bit there with Toro Rosso for some strange reason. And the respect level up a little bit as well. Still no change in the sportsmanship and showmanship side of things. But that is the practice program's done. Now the serious stuff begins. We've got 3 messages. The upcoming session. Good luck this session. We're all expecting a good result. Weather forecast from Jeff. A little bit cloudy in the race, but otherwise dry conditions as you would expect. And there is some information there about the Bahrain circuit. So not much else to look at. We'll just have a quick look at the gearbox, see how that is doing now. 12%. 12% it's up to then. Power units, everything is fine. We'll run with all of these units probably until maybe the 4th or 5th race. Then we'll start moving on to units number 2 and trying to be a bit frugal with that. Maybe using units number 2 for qualifying the race, and then units number 1 for the practice sessions to try and save mileage and therefore penalties later in the season. We'll just have to see how it goes throughout the course of the first season. But yeah, we've also got a team goal we can try and do. Finish 13th for better, gives us another 600 resource points. That'll go very, very nicely indeed. And our value is almost up to where our contract value is as well. So that's going to be quite helpful. So we're advanced to qualifying there. The first time we would have been running, well, the second time we would have been running in the night time. The first time you guys will certainly see it and how fantastic it looks. And yeah, I've got a good opportunity that we can really get a really, really strong top 10 qualifying here, which is good and bad. Good because it means that we're starting near the front, bad because we'll be on a 2-stop strategy and we'll have to push all the way through the race. But we'll go to qualifying and see if we can do it.
Bahrain qualifying is nearly upon us and the drivers look as if they're all geared up to go. I expect we'll be getting underway very shortly. And as we wait, poised for the start of what will hopefully be a thrilling qualifying, why don't you tell us, Anthony Davidson, about the things you can do to really get the most out of a car in a session like this?
Well, you're largely limited by the Parc Fermé regulations, of course. Back in the old days, pre-2004, you'd work on both a qualifying setup and a race setup over practice, and then swap them over after qualifying. So the race car was quite different at times to the qualifying car. Nowadays, though, you have to find a compromise that works for both. There are a few things that you can still adjust during the session, such as the differential, the brake bias, and the front wing angle, but that's about it. So it's more about optimizing what you do have and adapting your own style to suit the track conditions.
So here we are then in the qualifying session. A couple of cars have already gone out and you can hear other engine noises around me. This is a big risk. This is a big gamble. We have 3 sets of soft tyres, of course, and a set of medium tyres. Now, I genuinely think we've got a good chance of getting inside the top 10. But that will severely compromise us in the race, being on a 2-stop strategy. We will lose out to the guys in 11th, 12th and 13th. It just will happen. We won't be able to stay at the top 6 at all. So I'm tempted to just do one run in qualifying here on the medium tyres. Do it early, because then if we start slipping down the order, then I will go onto the softs. But if with, let's say, 3 or 4 minutes to go, we're comfortably inside the top 10, I won't go out. And I'll stay on these medium tyres, and if we do qualify in the top 10, we'll be in good stead for the race. So I've already gone over the car setup, but I will check the fuel level, drain it out as much as I can. So yeah, we're going to go on to the medium tyres. Soft tyres, you can see the medium tyres 6.5 tenths off, and then the hard tyres obviously another sort of 6.5 over that as well. So it's an even spread between all three of them. So we're selecting the medium tyres, and we're going to go out to do our first flying and possibly only flying lap on these tyres and see how we fare with the soft runners. So just coming down the pit lane behind a Red Bull, not too sure which one. This has got to be the best lap I've ever done on the set of medium tyres. It's Gasly we're behind. There's a few other drivers already out on circuit. Oh, Gasly gets right in the way of Perez there on the racing line. Wow. So if this is real life F1, that's Gasly slapped with a 5-place grid penalty already. I've got to remember that as well, then. The AI cars do not get out of the way when they come out the pits. So we'll save fuel, we'll save ERS as well. And this is going to be a circuit with, you know, before 5 long straights in the lap. In fact, there's 5 long straights in the lap. We saw in Australia that we were running out of ERS as we was coming across the line, and there really isn't as many long straights out of Australia as there is at Bahrain. So we are going to have to fiddle the ERS a little bit. We won't run out down to 0%, but we will run out if we run ERS mode 5 on a deployment side of things. Is the danger of running out sort of halfway down sector 3, which I really don't want to do because we'll lose a lot of time there. So at various points I'm going to have to knock the ERS down to maybe ERS mode 4, even ERS mode 3 in sort of the corners to make sure that we do get that extra boost coming up to the line. So I've got a Ferrari behind me, so I'll move over to the side now. Hopefully that's clear enough for him. It is. As Leclerc goes on his merry way. So everyone's going to be on the soft tyres, of course, in qualifying, being a short qualifying session. There is no sense in going for the mediums, but I'm confident that we can possibly sneak inside the top 10 with these tyres, and therefore as well, you know, put ourselves in a very favourable strategy position going into the race. So coming through the final corner now, the fuel in the ERS is up to the max, and here we go then. It's got to be a weldy. And it's not. I was too busy focusing on my ERS, and we've run wide. The lap is gone. I'm killing myself for that. We've got to qualify on the soft tyres now, that's it. Or I could go back out again, but it ain't going to work. It isn't going to work. We're going to have to go soft tyres. Ah, that's such a shame. Such a shame. We could have pulled off an absolute masterpiece here. So we'll have a tour back to the pits. And we'll start focusing on doing a couple of soft runs. So just over 11.5 minutes left of the session. We've got 3 sets of soft tyres. We'll definitely do at least 1 run, possibly 2. Timing screens at the moment, Leclerc and Vettel first and second. I don't think everyone's set lap times yet. Yeah, only half their field really. Devon Butler is last on a 32.917. A few other drivers out there at the moment, quite a few actually. In fact, everyone apart from us is out on circuit at the moment, hasn't set a lap time. So we'll go out on circuit as well, and we'll do our first lap, hopefully, on these soft tyres. Open up the DRS. Hopefully this one will be a lot better than the first. Oh wow, we are struggling and we're in the wall and we're out of qualifying.
That was a big one.
My
Confirm your
God.
mechanic, please.
So yeah, that was yeah, instead of hitting the curb on the inside and spinning out, we ran too deep over the exit curb again, sort of like the crash in Australia. Ran over the curb, car bottoms out, lose the grip, car goes off pirouetting into the barriers, and even with a large tarmac runoff, we still hit the wall and damaged the car completely. So yeah, that's us in last position, I believe. That's the order there. Hamilton, Vettel, Bottas, everyone else I don't particularly care. Raikkonen 14th. And yeah, we're last with no time at all, no time. So this is going to be an interesting race. We do have good pace here. We can now choose the one-stop strategy at least, but I at least wanted to be a bit higher up the order. So yeah, we've put a lot of pressure on ourselves here because, as we saw in Australia, it's not easy passing the AI cars. You just can't dive bomb into every corner and expect the AI to jump out the way. We've got to look at this race sort of as a long game. We've got to make progress in the opening laps, and then we've got to make sure that our strategy is okay. Not too sure what to predict for the race, but I'm sure it's going to be a fun one. So then the rivalry breakdown, well, yeah, you see for yourself there how that went, and the regionals points as well. I'll be lucky if we get more than 50 in this. 35, that's a disappointment, it really is, but we're over 1,000, so that's always nice as well. Oh, that took a hit, crashing out in qualifying. Not what you wanted at all. No, the respect level still went up a little bit though, which is surprising. But yeah, that's qualifying done.
Things happen from time to time. Try to make up for it in the race.
Yep, this could very well be a burn from the stern in the race. One message: the mechanics have done everything they can up to this point. Now it's up to you to drive the wheels off and bring home a good result. P.S. Tell you what, lap the field and I'll buy you a pizza. Yeah, hopefully I don't literally drive the wheels off like I did last time then. So that will end this episode then. FP3 was sort of hit and miss. We managed to get, reasonable points as well and work out where our sort of ultimate pace is. Qualifying, a complete disaster. Completely bottled the medium run and then crashed out on our first soft run as well. So we'll be starting this race from last unless anyone out there has grid penalties. So thank you very much for watching this episode, and do come back once the race has been uploaded, because there's if we manage to keep it clean, I'm pretty sure it's going to be an exciting one. Thank you very much for watching this episode, and I'll see you all for the next one very soon.